What's going on, everyone? Today, 83% of the S&P 500 closed up in the green, and there was a lot of action all around. In today's video, we're going to cover Netflix's earnings, which actually had its largest quarterly subscriber gain in history. The stock is rocketing off of this news. At the same time, there's a lot of action and attention towards AI, tech, and quantum stocks right now, as Trump is announcing a 100 to $500 billion AI infrastructure investment. At the same time, we have space stocks, believe it or not, skyrocketing, and a lot of other crazy things happening. So in today's video, we're going to cover everything you have to know, and we're going to cover some great stocks to keep on the radar as well. But besides that, Tom, we have a lot to cover, so let's get right to it.
Yeah, today was the first trading day of Trump's presidency, and this was pretty insane. We saw a lot of crazy movement out there, Mike. You know, like you mentioned, there's been a lot of good movement between multiple sectors, and we'll definitely talk about that. But I really want to hit on Netflix's earnings to start things off here. Netflix is crushing it right now. They're almost up to $1,000 a share in after hours. This is one heck of a feat by Netflix here, and they're at new all-time highs, of course, right? You know, with this breakout, it's a clear high, and they're powering higher. I know you mentioned a few really good things about them here, Mike, and specifically that subscriber growth is amazing. To beat the estimate by like over 10 million paid memberships is fantastic, and they've done a lot of stuff to kind of get themselves to this point, you know, by adjusting their plans, doing the ad tiers, and different stuff like that. So very good stuff by Netflix here, and great growth, and way to kick off the earnings season here.
Seriously, right? So they beat on revenue expectations, beat on profit expectations. Like you said, they beat on their membership expectations. They crossed over 300 million paid memberships. And overall, they just had a pretty solid quarter. I know some people are attributing some of this growth due to some of their new, like, major live sporting events, as well as Squid Game and all the hype that comes along with that. But either way, Netflix stock is skyrocketing, and like you said, it's a great way to kick off earnings season, and it's definitely a stock worth keeping on the radar because it has some pretty strong moves in both directions.
Yeah, and with those sporting events and stuff, that might help fuel even more growth throughout 2025 and maybe even open up more opportunities, you know, for more sports and more games and better deals, right? We might see some cool announcements. So I definitely like this with Netflix, but there was a lot of stocks going crazy today, and specifically like the quantum stocks and all the big tech stocks out there, right? AI is on fire right now. You know, whether we're looking at NVIDIA, which is a powerhouse, or we're looking at smaller, more growth-styled stocks like RGTI, which were up 42% today. There was a lot of great price action throughout this AI sector, and a lot of this actually comes down to what Trump is doing with tech. I mean, I can't believe this, but there's some deals out there, of course. Now, this is like a joint venture between OpenAI, Oracle, and SoftBank, but, you know, they're actually committed to $100 billion and up to $500 billion for this specific project over the next 4 years. And it's going to be interesting because there's just so much good hype and just, I would say, confidence in the AI and tech sector with this new administration coming in. So we're seeing a great jump today out of a lot of these smaller price quantum and tech stocks out there. So definitely watch these high runners here. 42%, no joke.
Yeah, so when you have a between $100 billion and $500 billion joint venture when it comes to developing AI infrastructure, clearly that is a massive deal, and it is in a industry where there are a lot of eyeballs and a lot of excitement. Like you said, there are some stocks out there that are on the, you know, smaller market cap side of things, like RGTI, which is, you know, in the quantum industry. These stocks have been insane, and this one's up 42% on the day. But there's also other, you know, industries and stocks out there that have a lot to gain as well. I know there was a lot of attention with ticker symbol OKLO low today, as this is like a nuclear, like a small modular reactor company that popped up by just under 20% as well. And there are many other stocks out there right now that are benefiting from this news and sentiment. So basically, there's a lot of good stuff happening with tech right now, and the stocks are loving it. So understand that, there's a lot of strong momentum here, and there's a lot of opportunity riding that momentum in a smart, risk-protected way.
Yeah, exactly. And I know somebody who definitely protected their risk recently is Nancy Pelosi. We're talking about all this AI hype and everything like that. Tempest, we talked about this. Nancy Pelosi ended up buying up a little AI stock. We talked about this yesterday. Tempest, 50 call options at a strike price of $20 that expires January 16th, 2026. She bought this on January 14th. I go to the Tempest chart, Mike, and I'm like, okay, what is going on here? We can actually see that she bought this right at the bottom. I mean, within 1 day of the bottom. And of course, Tempest comes out with an announcement today. They're going to be launching Olivia, their AI-enabled personal health concierge app for patients. So let's go, Mike. Nancy Pelosi does it again.
She sniped that one, right? But yeah, looking at ticker symbol TEM, this is like another tech-related stock, like you said, AI stock, that is moving with a lot of momentum. And then you also add on the Nancy Pelosi bottom dip buy. It's like, that's a crazy setup there. And, there's no sign to show that Nancy has sold out at this point. So it's just another stock worth keeping on the radar, especially when there's so much hype with just AI in general right now.
Yeah, and it might keep going. It's hard to say how long Tempest will keep this hype up for, but I will say it's a very good start to her position. So I'm sure a lot of people are going to be following this one a ton over the next few weeks, and even over the next year, probably, until we see more info about that trade. But Mike, I know space stocks were pretty wild today too. Whether you're looking at Rocket Lab or even DXYZ, which is Destiny 100, which actually comprises of SpaceX, which is its largest holding, was up 8.3% today. We see a lot of hype right now with space, as Trump is actually wanting to put astronauts on Mars. He announced this, and this is a pretty big deal. It's gotten a lot of hype since the announcement, and I know a lot of people have talked about this and said, well, hey, why don't we go to the moon? And looks like they're skipping that, straight back for Mars now.
Yeah, but looking at ticker symbol RKLB, this is a stock that has definitely benefited a ton off of this news. It popped up by over 30% on the day, and over the past few months, this stock has gone from like $4 a share all the way up to highs of 31. So that's pretty awesome to see. But whether you're looking at Rocket Lab or Tempest or Rigetti or Oklo or any other stock that is moving in a strong way right now, understand that yes, there's a lot of opportunity that come along with these big moves, but just like we saw specifically with quantum stocks just a couple weeks ago, you have to protect yourself. So like if you're riding like a giant uptrend, like let's say for example RKLB and how it's up 30% on the day, make sure you have clear levels that you're going to stop out at, because if you're just going to hold no matter what, then you're taking on a lot of risks that you don't necessarily have to take on. So keep that in mind. We like to remind people of things like this, especially when stocks get crazy, because a lot of losses are just unnecessary, especially when there's no stop losses attached to them. So just keep that in mind. But Tom, I have to say, all of this momentum has been amazing.
It really has, and it's been making for some great trading opportunities. And I was actually worried that heading into Trump's inauguration day, that we would be kind of in a buy the rumor, sell the news type of event. But what I was actually kind of happy about is that the overall market had been consolidating a little bit into this event, right? We actually saw SPY consolidate for the past few weeks, especially since the last FOMC meeting. But today, it is starting to mount a good comeback, which is great. And today, SPY actually broke its trend of lower highs, which is amazing. So now we're above 600, and we even, at the end of day, broke above 603, which I thought was a huge resistance. I was watching 602 today. We saw a little bit of reaction there, and 603, but we saw that clear break. Now, Mike, I'm honestly watching 604 to 605, and then the all-time high right up around 608, and then 609 coming up. This is going to be huge over the next few days. And I guess with Trump's inauguration, we're going to need to see if the market can go up and test that high or not. If not, I am going to be watching $600 now as a major support. Previous resistance then becomes support. And of course, with $600 being such a pivotal psychological level, that has to be an area that we watch if SPY does pull back tomorrow.
No doubt, and I'm very happy to see that SPY is not only above that crucial area of resistance at $600, which, like you mentioned, is now support, but, it has been moving in a pretty strong way over the past week or so, and, we're getting closer and closer to new all-time highs for SPY, so it should be a very exciting week regardless, and then over these next couple of weeks, we also have earnings season that will ramp up quite a bit. Looking at, from this week's schedule, we had Netflix report after the bell today, and throughout the week, we'll have a couple other exciting companies, but it's definitely going to be an exciting next couple of weeks. That is for sure. But, and then also even looking at the calendar, it's not like as crazy, but I actually don't mind this because we have more than enough going on in the market right now. On Friday, we do have some existing home sales data, but it's not going to be like anything like too crazy.
Yeah, I really don't think so, and I'm glad that we don't have too much going on. We can really just focus on the inauguration and a lot of the stuff that Trump's doing. We're probably going to see a lot of big headlines over the next couple of days, just like we saw today out of many, many sectors. So be ready for lots of stuff going on. There could even be stuff with food companies, like with them banning certain dyes and having to edit food and stuff like that. There could be a lot of stuff. So have a very open mind and definitely be ready for some volatility with some of these stocks. That's for sure.
Yeah, you have to follow the money. There's a lot of change happening now, whether you like it or you don't like it, that doesn't really matter. It's just more so about what industries are getting affected right now and how are things flowing and changing. We could see today it was definitely like tech heaven, but tomorrow maybe it'll be energy heaven or hell. It's got to follow the money and just especially pay attention to breaking news now because this has been something extremely important, especially in Trump's last term. So just keep your eyes peeled on the news. But besides that, Tom, let's get right into some setups and predictions. A stock that is definitely on my radar right now is ticker symbol ORCL. This is Oracle, and they are another company that is tied to this massive multiple $100 billion AI infrastructure investment. Oracle today popped up by 7%, and it doesn't have as much hype as, let's say, like a company like, OpenAI or, some of the other competitors, but, they are very well positioned, and they're a pretty strong company, and the stock has a lot of momentum right now. So it's definitely on my radar for a short-term bullish momentum style play. This stock will be close on watch, especially throughout the rest of the week.
Yeah, this was a huge move today. Looking at the setup on the daily, it's wild how they're coming up off of that dip as much as they are, and they're tied to that deal, so there's a lot of good momentum with this one. I'll definitely keep it on the radar for tomorrow, that's for sure, and for the whole week. But with my first setup, I'm looking at General Motors back to the upside. I really like the way that General Motors is starting to base right around this $50 support. So I'm really watching for a test of the top of this channel, if not even a possible break. This is going to be like the fourth touch and test of this, so I will be watching for the potential breakout here, especially if stocks continue to have the type of positivity that they've been having this week. So if we see a good breakout here of this $54 to $55 range, that's where I'm going to get a lot more bullish on General Motors. But I really want to see that resistance break because it is pretty crucial. But once it does break, I think that there's a lot of room to the upside. So definitely have a GM on the radar for that potential break. And who knows, maybe there'll even be something announced with the auto industry.
Yeah, very interesting. Now also keep that one close on watch. But another stock that I've been talking about quite a bit lately and that has been doing pretty well is TLT. So there was a recent bullish big money play with this one, and TLT has been climbing pretty slowly and steadily ever since. This one is still definitely on the radar to the upside. Again, it has been consistently trending higher. We saw the big money play for the 90 strike call options for February 21st of 2025 come in last week, and it was like a $3.2 million trade. As long as this stock stays above $87.60, that is what I would deem is just like a general way to classify good price action. So either way, it's definitely still on my radar.
I love the way TLT has been playing out so far. I will say there is a bit of a channel here and resistance on TLT around like 88 and then supports like kind of close to 87. So maybe we will see it play out in the channel. But either way, I think it's awesome for the next month to 2 months. And, of course, over the next few days, we might start to see those yields play out a little differently, Mike. It was interesting to see US 10Y continue to fall down today again. So I'll definitely be watching for that again tomorrow. But with my next setup, I'm looking at DraftKings, and we're going to the Bookmap. DraftKings had a good move today, 5.65%. They're back above $40, which I thought was a great breakout move today. And if they're able to break the high of day, right around 41.70, I'll be watching them back to the upside. But I want to go to the Bookmap and check this out because I do know that there's sellers stacked around 42. And this is kind of where like you can use the Bookmap to really help you out. I love that high of day around 41.70, like I said, but looking at the Bookmap and seeing those sellers there at 42, I'm going to make 42 break. So if we see this sell wall give out, I will look at DraftKings back to the upside. There was a lot of good momentum today. It's in a growth sector, and it's seeing some positivity, of course, with a lot of these other stocks.
Love to see it. And like you mentioned, there definitely are a handful of sell walls overhead, but none of these sell walls are like that like giant or crazy either, which I would argue is a good sign for a play like this.
Yeah, I would too. Only 15,000 shares at $42. It could be bigger. It's fairly big compared to, a lot of the levels that were out there today on DraftKings. But if we break it tomorrow, that's where I'll be looking for a breakout for sure.
All right, sounds good. Well, let's jump right into today's momentum plays then. And with the first one, we have QBTS to the upside.
Yeah, QBTS has seen a lot of hype in the short term. D-Wave Quantum, I like the high of day around 630, but as I zoom out, there's a pretty good resistance around $6.50. So if we see that $6.50 break, keep watching this one back to the upside.
All right, with the next one, we have JOBY also to the upside.
Yeah, one of those air taxi companies, if they end up breaking out above the high of day right around $9.20, then watch JOBY up as well.
All right, and then with the last one, we have CCJ also to the upside.
Uranium stocks, we're even seeing some positivity on Trump's first day. If CCJ can break out above 53.70, just above the high of day, then watch this one up as well.
All right, so we have CCJ, JOBY, and QBTS all on watch for potential bullish momentum style plays tomorrow. If and only if they break through the levels listed. The stronger and more consistent these stocks move, the better the setups become. These stocks are volatile, so you have to have stop losses, as always, and then be happy to adjust and flow with the trend changes as they happen. But either way, keep these stocks close on the radar. And besides that, let's jump right into today's big money trade. And we are looking at ticker symbol MCHP. Today, the big money bought the 65 strike call options that expire on March 21st of 2025. This is a $510,000 trade where the big money is bullish. Looking at MCHP, the stock has definitely been selling off a decent amount over the past couple of months, but when we zoom out further, we can see that it is in the process of testing, I would say, its biggest level just in general, right around this $55 area. We can see that this $55 area has not only been a recent support, but it has also been a major support level twice in 2022. When you go back even further, you can see it acted as strong resistance back in like 2020 and 2021. So needless to say, $55 is a major area for this company. Looking at this stock in general. It has been dipping a decent amount, and it has been holding this area so far. I don't love how these call options have a strike price that is a little bit far out of the money at the 65 strike, considering that the stock is currently right around $58.50 per share. So that definitely does add risk to it. But at the same time, there's also some time until expiration, as it has basically till the end of March. So I would say it's like a little bit more of like a high risk, high reward play. But this is a major level right here, and so far so good.
Yeah, that is a huge support there, right around that $55 mark. And, if we use the price that it closed at today and we break out the risk-reward ratio, or in this case, the reward risk, I really do like that support. And if we look at this, it's a pretty good ratio, 2.55, at least if you're targeting somewhere like right around $70. It's pretty decent. I do like $70 as a pretty good area of resistance as well. You can also maybe look at like 69, where there's been a few bounces in the past, but I do think that if there's a good rip, that would be a decent area to target to the upside. So either way, it's a decent setup. I love the support, and it makes the risk-reward ratio just a little bit more enticing than, like let's say a breakout trade where we're trying to trade it like up at the top, right? I do love the support in this scenario.
No doubt, and $55 is the level to watch. So either way, keep it close on the radar. But if you guys are new to Stocked Up videos, welcome, and consider obliterating that subscribe button to get our videos recommended to you more often. There's a lot going on in the market right now, and every single day we cover the most important news, information, earnings, events, big money trades, setups to watch, and basically everything you need to know in around like 20 to 25 minutes or less. It takes us hours to make these videos, and if you want them recommended to you more often, consider obliterating that subscribe button. But we also want to give a giant shout out to our member of the day, A Blurred Moon, in the Stocked Up Discord, who had a great post in the Profits channel today with some nice steady gains. So huge shout out to you, Moon. Keep up the great work going forward, and hopefully we see many more screenshots like this one from you going forward. But we're very excited. There's a lot going on in the market right now, and there's a lot of big movement in both directions. So it should be a very exciting week. Again, don't forget about Netflix and their crazy movement in after hours and any breaking news that can happen. Trump likes to he likes to tweet a lot, but he also likes to do a lot of these like breaking press conferences, and they do move markets. So to adapt to this new environment, pay attention to the news more, and just pay attention to the news more. It moves the market quite a bit. So either way, thank you all so much for watching, and let's crush it in the market tomorrow.